All right, good people. If you are hearing my voice, you are tuned in to the latest episode of the Sim Standard podcast. And of course, we always delay it for a hot second to make sure everything is running. It looks like it is. So definitely welcome, man, if you're already here. If not, no worries. Welcome to those who are listening to this on the rebound, driving to work, sitting at work, whatever you're doing to kill time. We appreciate that. And those of you who will just hear it, on the rebound just because that's the way you prefer to listen to it, we like to welcome you. But, of course, you're going to hear our small intro once again when we get a few more people up in here. But, yeah, man, we definitely welcome you guys tonight. As you all would probably be able to tell by the title, as well as, if you are like us and you're waiting to see what's going on with Madden, then you already know where we're going to go tonight in terms of the topics. So that should be a no-brainer. But like I said, man, we'll cover this again really quick right now. I guess this is the best time Smitty and I can just do a quick, little quick intro, anything we want to talk about outside of the topics before we get started. And that'll allow you guys a good time to get up in here. So really quick, Smitty, man, how was your week? Anything you want to hit before we go into the bulk of the topics?
Actually, no, not a whole lot. I mean, it's been a good amount of news put out there. We got some good stuff talking about Madden and everything. So that right there is some great news that we had out there. Also, the one thing I'll just say personally that I had posted it up on Twitter. I know not everybody's on Twitter, but I had announced that I will be having a son. So definitely I'm looking forward to that. So that's an awesome blessing for my wife and I. I think my wife, she's happy nevertheless, but with whichever it was, whether it was boy or girl, but I kind of think that she was leaning towards she wanted it to be a girl. So but it's all good though. Either way though, we're just grateful, nevertheless. But yeah, man. I mean, we got this. Got Madden, we got Division 2 stuff happening, what I'm saying, next week. So there's some great gaming stuff going on right now, man. So definitely excited about that. And also one other thing too. Thank you to all the people, everybody, Sim, AZ, everyone that shown all the love and everything, the congrats and everything. Thank you to everybody. I greatly appreciate that. So thanks a lot, y'all.
Absolutely, man. And of course, guys, you all probably heard it yourselves on your end. A round of applause we threw in there for Smitty with another child. And I'm sure Smitty wouldn't mind me saying this. I'm going to be, very generic with it. But, Smitty, at one time, it was tough for Smitty and his wife to have a child, as it was with me and my wife. And now we both are parents. And here's Smitty has number 3 coming. So, blessings to you, Smitty, and your wife and all. It's just a wonderful turnaround from when we think back, 4 or 5 years ago. We're sitting here waiting for Smitty to have his first child, and look at him now. He's Speedy Gonzalez on us. He just rolling. But yeah, man, congrats to that. And of course, we'll all keep you and the wife in prayer that it is another healthy child. I'm sure it will be. But outside of that, guys, I don't really have much to hit on, man. I didn't really do anything from a personal standpoint outside of, just trying to keep up with you guys, trying to give you what little content I can provide while it's a slow time. You guys that are here, that come by for the Steelers stuff. Y'all know it's not a whole lot I can get into yet, but that it's about to change for all of us. Our teams will be entering training camp. Some of them are actually already slightly reporting. So that should be fun. We got football coming back, and we got what appears to be a better product in Madden. Of course, we all got to wait and see for ourselves. And you guys will hear me say that repeatedly tonight for yourselves. Don't just listen to what me and Smitty are going to say, and others, and everyone else who's giving you opinions. The only way for you to know is for you to see for yourself. And there's multiple ways for you to see this year. EA Access is coming to PS4, which reminds me, Smitty, I need to sign up for that. And Not
I don't
for
think we
Madden.
can yet though.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Do we have to actually wait until I think it's the 24th or something for?
Yeah, I thought it was the 24th or something. Like we have to wait until then because they still the EA Access. Like I looked on the website and it's like they got a countdown
For the
for it for
PS4,
the
yeah.
PS4. Yeah.
And yeah, man, because, just a shameless, some people are going to call it a plug or whatever, because, oh, you guys are EA. No. But I will say EA Access, to me, has always been a good thing for me, because there are some games that I don't buy, okay, from EA. And there's a lot of games, I mean, you guys know. Me and Smitty have had the luxury of being able to get these games free. But there are games that I like to go back and play, and some of the ones that I don't get for free, I could try out. And I just paid a yearly thing, and I used to use it on my Xbox. Some of you guys would know, some of you are surprised. Yeah, I have an Xbox, but I only used EA Access. So now that Xbox One is pretty much, I'm probably just going to let my 5-year-old, we'll find some games for him. I don't play it. But I always preferred to have it on PS4 because that's where I play. Just so I could get used to the buttons and all of that jazz. But anyway, again, for you guys that want to try Madden first, which I highly recommend, there's EA Access if you want to pay $4.99 for the 1 month. There's Redbox. There's multiple ways for you guys to either try and or see real live footage, because I know Smitty will be streaming, I will be streaming, numerous other people, and I know you guys are probably going to watch, guys who are like-minded like you, but there are plenty of people out there for you. So there's no excuse, man. If you just want to try for yourself, I'm only saying this, guys, because I continue to see people say, oh, well, you said, and what, dog, we're all going to have our own interpretation. I mean, that's just how it goes. That's how it goes. And y'all, I know Smitty, the fellas out here usually like when I give those references that most men can understand. Y'all all have been at some time, you and your boys was out. 3 of y'all, 3 girls walked by. There's been times where one of y'all like a certain girl for a certain reason, the other boy liked one girl, and the other boy liked the other girl. Because y'all all interpret it different. You see what I'm saying? You might think she's the best one, he might think she's the best one. And that's just my point. You have to see for yourself. You cannot rely on Sim and Smitty. We could give you kind of a ballpark, but again, you guys will like things that we won't, and vice versa, and some things we will all like together. So there you have it. But real quick, man, shout outs to both Vodka Drinker, and my boy Dez in the building for the donation. Round of applause.
Big ups to both. I'm gonna read my man's comment, Vodka.
Yep, definitely will. He says, the day the NFL signed that exclusive deal with Madden destroyed the franchise, competition from another game developer would make Madden better. Yeah, we're going to get into that. And you know what? We may get into that first. I'll check with Smitty, but we're definitely going to cover that because, believe it or not, guys, that was going to be our topic. At Spirit Moment, it came up during Smitty's stream. We was like, you know what? We talking about that on Thursday, and then boom, they dropped this stream on us today that kind of, took place as far as the lead topic. But we're definitely going to talk about that, as well as, for you guys that don't know, we will be discussing, just giving our thoughts on what we learned today from the beta update stream. And also another topic that I want to, Smitty, we'll hit this one first because this is probably really, really quick. I want to talk a little bit about the NCAA class action lawsuit. I don't know if everybody saw it, but we'll go ahead and jump right into it, man. Basically, what's happening is they say more than 50,000 former college athletes next month will begin collecting portions of $208 million class action settlement paid by the Indianapolis-based NCAA in a case that challenged its caps on compensation, right? And so the question is, will this help NCAA football come back? I'll kick it off, Smitty, because like I said, I don't have a whole lot on this topic, but I figured, a little miscellaneous topic we could talk about. I think we got to learn more about what this is Everything that I'm seeing, Smitty, unless I'm missing something from what I've read, it's basically it's kind of a paying for a one and done type of thing. I'm not getting the sense that this is anywhere close. Well, it could be, but I'm not getting the sense that it's saying that athletes will start getting paid and things of that nature, and they'll be able to earn money elsewhere while they're in college, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not really seeing anything sticking to that narrative yet, and I still hold that position. I don't think that these gaming companies like EA Sports and others, but we got to say EA Sports because EA Sports was probably the last one, swinging the bat in terms of that game, with having a college product, and 2K, college hoops was one of my favorite games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see these companies jumping back into these licensing deals with the NCAA and these teams, man, until they can hash that out. Because we all know, ironically, a lawsuit was the reason why them games went away. They had O'Bannon or Charles, whichever O'Bannon that was, whichever one of those guys that was basically suing because of his likeness. That's pretty much what, put the NCAA football series to bed, and companies have backed away from it. Think about this. EA, here's a funny thing, Smitty, and I just thought about this on the fly. EA was even saying that they were going to continue to make a college football game without the licensing, and then all of a sudden they said, nah, we're not going to do it. Now, if EA with the name recognition didn't do it, what do y'all think is going to happen when these other companies are trying to make these independent college football games with no licensing? That's just a sidebar.
Yeah.
But that's just my position on it, man. I don't think it helps. I really don't think it's going to, just this. Now, unless there's more to it, but just this settlement, I don't think we're any closer necessarily to getting NCAA football back from EA or any company, jumping back into that arena. But what's your thoughts on that, man? Have you seen anything? Like, am I missing something, or maybe I didn't read the whole article, or what?
I have not seen anything at all about it, so I personally wouldn't have any info on it as far as how far this will move the needle. I mean, the way that it only sounds right now is just saying that these particular players are going to be compensated.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't say anything as far as, well, like, what about current players? Because those players would have to be compensated currently in order for EA to potentially want to get involved.
You know what? I did see in the initial report that I saw last night. Let me see if I can find it, man, and I'll send it to you here in the Skype. But the initial report that I saw last night, it did say former and current. But this most recent one that I saw today will put a number on it when it said 50,000 or so. So I don't know, but you're right. That's a big deal of it. Are we talking current players, and if so, how much? Or are we talking past players? I think you make a good point there. That's going to be, a big determining factor.
Yeah. So, I mean, excuse me. And I mean, the other thing too is how far down the rabbit hole does this go? Because if you're saying players are getting paid now, see, this is where greed and everything else is going to come into play. Because what about star players, and what about players that feel like they should be? You're going to have players that feel that they should get the star money, but they're just not getting the shine. So now there's going to be excuse me. There's going to be a rough period of this, going down before, it truly does work. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a legit system in place where it's going to work and not be problematic for these guys. So I don't know. I really don't know, Sim. I just, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I hate that it ever happened in the first place. I could go in on Ed O'Bannon in many ways over on that regard, and rake him over the coals in regards to it. But nevertheless, the it just sucks because we wanted we at the end of the day we want to see more, football games. We want to see NCAA football. Like many people across the board just want the game back. They just want it. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. So, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll see another game. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Who knows what it may be? Because I mean, understand this is in the court system. This could go on for another year, 5 years, 10 years. Who knows? Well, how long this will even go on? So can't truly speak to it at this juncture. But just gotta wait and see. I mean, that's the whole thing. EA at this point in time, they they ready. You know what I mean? They're just sitting in the cut waiting for the stars to align, and then they like, oh, for sure, let's go. We'll do the thing. You know, but oh, okay, all right. I'm just looking in the chat here too. But yeah, so that's the unfortunate thing about it. Yeah, I mean, and I'll just say this one little bit too, because like just looking at the tone of the chat, and I mean, I see names that I haven't seen in here before, but the thing is, it's just that you gotta understand, this is not when it comes to this is not 2004, right? This isn't 2005 either. The cost of development for gaming is a heck of a lot higher now than it is back then. And I mean, you think about it, the the mentality of these companies, it's not, hey, we're all willing to spend money to make money. Not necessarily. They rather spend less to make more. You see what I'm saying? EA is already in a spot with Madden and NFL and everything where they're in a comfortable position. Sony doesn't even want to get involved with making a game, and that's like what Sim and I, we were at E3. We said this a long time ago. We spoke to Ramon Russell, my man from MLB, and he straight up said Sony don't want to get involved. They don't want to do it because of the cost.
Not worth the investment.
Yeah, it's not worth it to them. And I'm like, this big old company Sony, juggernaut Sony, all that money they make, and they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. See what I'm saying? They don't want to get involved with the cost. 2K, why won't they get involved? You know what I'm saying? It could be the same thing, but you see, think about it. 2K is investing in something that is 100% already working for them. Basketball. They took a chance on something that nobody was basically messing with. It was THQ, with wrestling, right? They put up what they put up. They put up what they have like $1 billion or whatever, or nearly that. They did. I forgot what the amount was, but a 7-year extension or whatever with the NBA. They're in a very, very. It's just like with Madden and their NFL license situation. They have a great partnership. So it's like, why mess with that? We're already deep rooted in this. Keep it going. It's the same thing with 2K. They're deeply rooted. You see what I'm saying? So, but thing is, Nate, I will say this though. Nobody's gonna complain to the Players Association. No one's gonna do any of that stuff. Every single year, people do all the petition stuff and all that jazz. They ain't gonna do nothing. Nobody's serious about it. The only thing people are serious about is they're serious about talking about it. They're not serious about doing anything about it. So that's just the way. That's just the way that it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. We want competition, but we know what the reality is. It's right there. Like they're not. We know the reality is even when it comes to the community. People will complain and pump their fists in anger, but people are not seriously going to take action. They're not gonna say that I'm not playing Madden no more. I'm playing Axis. Yeah, right. Oh man, I'm getting maximum football and I'm not even gonna play Madden. I'm not even buying Madden this year. That's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Even my man Soft Drink Sports or whatever, or my man VF, if they got issues with Madden 20, you already see how these dudes talking. They playing Madden 08. They're not playing. They're not even gonna play. We're not gonna give Maximum Football or Axis a chance. No, we're gonna play this PS2 game now. See what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that's gonna happen. That's what people are going to do. You know what I'm saying? So, or they're just gonna buy Madden, suck it up, and deal. That's it. So that's the way. That's the way it is. And plus, understand, a lot of people that are pumping their fists in anger, saying how I hate Madden and I want 2K so bad. They more than likely they have Madden peeking out the GameStop bag, or coming through the mail from Amazon, or getting it from eBay, or they got the game already downloaded to their console. It's already preloaded. You see what I'm saying? Usually they already have the game, already have it, and then they're sitting up here barking how howling mad they are about the game. They're good, okay? A lot of these guys own the game, and a lot of these guys are enjoying the game. They have their disgruntles about it, but they enjoy it. And they keep buying it year in, year out, saying that they're done and all that jazz. But, we've been down that road before. This is the nature of the beast. Of this, or the way the machine goes when it comes to Madden. They complain, but they buy it, or they already have it, and they complain anyway and front like they don't have it. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is, man. So, but go ahead, Sim, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're right. And like I said, I'm going to stick true to what I said last week, where, some comments, and again, guys, this is not a personal thing, but some comments I'm just not going to address because, again, it's, punching your hand through the wall and expecting something else to happen. Is some of these answers, I will say this, are already out there. Some of these things we've already addressed. And some of the confusion that some of you guys have, I mean, I'm telling you, it's right there in front of you. You just got to, again, no disrespect, but you got to open your eyes and see exactly what's happening. Number two, listen, Smitty and I don't know everything, but let me just give you a quick tidbit of information. We tend to have knowledge. Let's say that. I'm not going to say no. We tend to have knowledge of some things that not everybody else has knowledge about, only because not just EA affiliation. It's because we've been in this circle around game developers and executives and et cetera, et cetera. Shout outs to David West. Really quick round of applause for their donation.
Oh, shout out to David.
And I'm going to read his comment here in just a moment. But what I wanted to say is, man, like Smitty said, we've talked to people that are inside of other buildings on a personal level. And they be like, man, hey, we wish, but man, it's just simply too much to da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, we're not saying these things because we're coming up with our own ideas. Like I said, we have actually mingled with people. We ran into the backbreaker people at EA. That's the funniest thing about it. We was out on dinner while we were at EA, and I don't even know, freak accident. I don't even know how this happened. The developers for Backbreaker happened to be in town, and they happened to come in the same restaurant. And I don't even know how. I think one of us, somebody recognized they had a shirt on or something, got to talking to those dudes. And they basically said as much. It's just they realize as gaming companies that they're behind the eight ball, right? And it's easy for us in the passionate community to think, well, all y'all have to do is just make the game this way and make the game. That's not going to work, fellas. We got to stop. We have to stop thinking about things from our own personal perspective. I'm not talking opinion. I'm talking about from a perspective of that we think this is all that has to be done. Nah, man. It's way deeper than that. Come on, man. You got to think with your business mind. If it was that easy, let's be real. let's use EA's direct competition because they're always going to be linked to 2K because we know what happened with 2K5, Madden 05. Next thing you know, NFL gets pissed off because 2K drops the price in 1999. They should have never done that. They made EA drop their price. Then the NFL said, "Oh no." And the NFL, the NFL decided, "Nah, we're going exclusive. We're going to work with EA Sports." And that is the reason why there's no more other games. And again, the answers are out there, folks. The NFL, we all know that they like exclusivity. Look at how they treated their players when they wanted to wear Beats instead of bows. Mm-hmm. Some of the players, they swept this one under the rug a little bit, but I remember it was some video of players using iPads, and they didn't want them to do that. They wanted them to be seen with Surfaces because Microsoft is who they have their deal with. I mean, a lot of craziness, right? That's the NFL. So I don't know why people still don't see that, but the NFL is in control of the license and who they want to do partnership with. Also, think about it. A lot of us been listening to watching Madden for years. Remember there used to be a time when they used to announce exclusive license? And remember that year when we told y'all that we heard that wasn't going to be the case anymore? I really don't think the license is exclusive anymore in terms of nobody else can get in. We've been telling y'all that, right? Rex invited other companies to come get in. They weren't doing that before. But the fact of the matter is like Smitty said, it's simply not worth a company's time to think that they're going to overtake the fan base that Madden now has. I'm not talking about us, guys. I'm not talking about you guys in the chat because I know you're very selfish. You seem to think that it revolves around us. It doesn't. There's way too many. Matter of fact, if that was the case, it'd be 10,000 people watching this stream right now. I'm sorry to keep informing us, but we're not that big of an audience. We're not. There's millions of people that are buying Madden on a yearly basis. They don't have none of these complaints. So my point is that's the crowd that the people who spend money have to look at. When you sit down at 2K and you say, okay, guys, you think we can jump back in? And you got other people like, nah, man, I don't know. Look at this. Look at that. Look at how they're connected to this. Look at this. Look at how they have, it's too much. And that's the reason why I honestly feel like there's no other company that's going to jump into that race. And it's definitely not worth it to them from a business standpoint to make an unlicensed product. They did it. Some of y'all might not know this, but there was supposed to be an All-Pro Football 2K9. They pulled the plug. Because they was like, oh, no.
Yeah, they didn't even sell 1 million copies.
Yeah. They was like, nah, never mind.
Yeah. They didn't even sell 1 million copies combined. You know what I'm saying? Both consoles, and they didn't get, nah.
Because from the way we hear it, it was a multi-deal with some of those ex-players. It wasn't just that one game. It was a multi-year deal, and they pulled the plug. And think about it. Us here in this community, probably all of us feel like 2K8 had some of the best pure gameplay that we've ever seen. It did. That's just my opinion. There's things I didn't like in that game as well. And might I say this, Smitty, and I know some people are going to throw stones at me. Again, I think there's things that are done now in modern day Madden that's better than what was in 2K8. Yeah. Which it should be.
Yep.
But 2K8 still has some of my favorite elements, i.e. the ability system, which we're finally catching back up to with Madden 20. Or how about pass trajectories and the QB animations? I mean, come on. I can keep going. The tier system. The fluidity in the route running. Oh, my goodness. I mean, just a lot of stuff that 2K8 did very, very well. But as you can see, our crowd is always saying that was the best football game ever, and 2K ain't budget. They ain't trying to make another one because it's about that bread, man. It's about the bread. So again, you know, I know some of you guys, even here, some of y'all have said it tonight. Well, all the company has to do is just, okay, I mean, if you want to think that way, great. I'm just telling you that's not going to happen. I wouldn't. If it was me, I definitely wouldn't spend money doing that when I can see. Nah, I don't know, bro. I don't think we got enough to. It's going to take us way too long to get into that crowd. You know, it just is what it is at this point, man. I mean, Madden has become the household name as much as... Here you go. Here's another one, Smitty. The same thing that's going to happen in NBA Live, unfortunately. 2K has become the household name.
Yeah.
And it is a good product. Yes, it has its flaws. Yeah, there's people who hate it. But the name recognition of 2K, think about it. For some of you young people out there. And all of us. 2K is now 2K and Madden. But remember when we was coming up, even the joke amongst your girlfriend was like, oh, Lord, Madden's coming out. That was like the running joke. Chicks do that now about 2K. You see these videos on Instagrams where girls is getting mad because their man is playing 2K. See what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
2K is the household basketball name. So I don't think it's nothing Live can do, man. I'm sorry. The game could be good. It's just I think 2K is too far. They're just too far gone.
Right. Here, let me give this example right here because I know some people are saying it's being underestimated about people buying 2K and all that stuff. Let me say this real quick. Think about it. Let's look at comic book movies, right? They're gonna make a Spawn movie, right? That's going to be made. See, but how many people really know about that? Now, let me ask you this. How many people are going to give a care about a Spawn movie being made in comparison to a new Marvel Studios film being made? You see what I'm saying? Or even a DC movie. You see what I mean? It's not going to be on that same magnitude. It's like, we're going to do this movie. Hopefully it hits. Hopefully it works well. Even though, yeah, you look at Deadpool and it's like, hey, they did Deadpool. You could do it R-rated style movie and it'll work well. You can. That's very true. But are people going to come through kicking the door down saying, oh my gosh, they did Spawn. We need to see Witchblade. And now we need to see, like, people don't care. They're not going to care about a Witchblade film nearly as much as they would give a care about a Captain America film. Or even if Marvel does if they do a brand new movie of a character that you ain't even seen yet, you're going to give a care because Marvel has what they've established.
Yep.
So when you go back to the whole, like, you look at Image Comics, Image Comics can come out with whatever character they want. It doesn't matter. They can say, oh, but this character is just like Deadpool, except they're even better. But people aren't going to truly give a care about it. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to care about it. They're not going to give a care about it anymore. They're going to be like, but it ain't Cap, though. It ain't this character. It ain't that. That's the whole thing. And Spawn's my guy. Don't get me wrong. I see my man. Spawn's my guy. That's my character. I love Spawn. But the problem is that it's the levels of where it's at this stage, right? So you can't just come in and say, oh, but people now, they'll respond differently to it. Like, it's like, no, not necessarily. And I'm not saying 2K won't battle or 2K won't make noise, but like what Sim always, we all make the point, but Sim drives it home the best. He's like, so if 2K gets in, let's say they come in, right? And they decide to make a game, and they're like, oh, they're going to make some noise. EA's going to look at it and be like, oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. That bar that you guys trying to set, let's kick that bar up 15. Hey, we got 3 more studios that are going to be working on Madden. You know what I'm saying? The next Madden. All of a sudden, it's going to jack them through the roof with innovation, creativity, and depth. Yep. So, as we've said for years, they compete, we win. We ultimately get multiple choices. But I'm not going to lie to myself and be like, oh, I'm going to just play 2K instead, when I know full well, especially if the product shows it, I'm playing Madden. I'm playing Madden. You see what I'm saying? If the game hits like that, but what because they don't want to lose anything. So that's what I'm saying. And people understand. People are begging for 2K because of where the game is at. If Madden makes the game and it hits, all that is silence.
Oh,
that's just like people talking about live in 2K. Ultimately, people will get upset with the microtransactions, the server issues, and all that. But even with all that being said, you pop in NBA Live, people will treat it like a running joke, and they will run right back to 2K and play that all day with all the problems that it has. So that's just it. And it's because 2K, even with the problems that it has, they still add a lot of depth. Like I guarantee me and Sim are going to have a show here where we're going to be like, OMG, look what they did yet again with my league. OMG, look what they yet still was able to do with core gameplay. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things they're going to do that are really going to catch our attention like that. Is Live going to do the same thing? And even if Live does do something, is it going to be remotely close to the level of 2K? We already can say with confidence, no, it's not. You see what I'm saying? And that's the point. That's the key point right there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. For 2K to get involved, could they eventually make a 2K football game and build it up? Yeah, of course they could.
Sure. I would love them to.
Could. Yeah, you know what I mean? But don't think for one moment, it's not going to be one. See, we're used to it being about just one game, and that's it. Because that's basically what this whole culture is now. It's mainly about one game. But if they make a good game and they keep building, you're going to have two games that eventually are going to be pushing each other for your dollar. So ultimately, that's great. We got choices, and we have two valid options in terms of football games, which is how it used to be back in the day for Sim and I, and for those of us that are of certain ages that were able to appreciate the stuff. So that's it, you know?
And that pretty much, drives us right into our next topic, and we can wrap that up, and then we'll finish up with the Madden stuff today. What you guys have to think about, and I'll say this. Let's just say we'll agree to disagree, because I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm right. I'm not going to sit here and act like you guys are right. It's just me. I just try to look at tangible evidence, man. I mean, we could play the what if game until the cows come home, but there's no evidence saying that there's millions of people that want another game versus Madden. It's just not, because the numbers don't show that. What the numbers do show, and me and Smitty have said this several times, which I would like to drive the point home to the corporate folks at EA, where them people that was buying 2K football when Madden 05 and 2K5 was up, where's those people? Because y'all should be sitting at 8 to 10 million copies sold every year, because you're the only game. There's at least 2 to 3 million people that I'm sure were 2K football fans that should be buying your game. That would be my number one question if I was in charge there. Like, wait a minute, where is that crowd? What can we do to get them back? But that's a side conversation. But speaking of 2K5, right? Did Madden not outsell that? We all know it did, and we all regard that as the best overall football experience. Here's another what if question, or we can only ponder on this, because there's no facts. How long do we think it would have taken before 2K would have actually outsold Madden? That's a real question. We can't answer that. But your closest measurement, if you look at the numbers sold of Madden 05 versus 2K5, when they both were in their prime, that's our point right there. Y'all act as if 2K comes back and everybody else goes belly up. Oh, no. I'm here to tell you that I'm pretty sure Madden would be right there. Because matter of fact, the topic that me and Smitty really wanted to discuss, imagine this for a moment. Just imagine that it's July 18th, 8:41 p.m., which it is right now. And we're having a conversation about, man, I can't wait to see what that NFL 2K look like. Oh, man, but that game day 2K, that game day 20, oh, Madden 20. Think about that for a minute. If all three of those games have all been making football up until right now, till tonight, can y'all imagine what we would be talking about? Just think about that. Game day 20. For all my game day heads who played game day 98 and 99, which I think 98 was the one that punched Madden in the mouth. Think about that. If right now we all sitting here like, bruh, I don't know. Which one am I going to spend my time with? They all good. Because that's what it really would be. They all would be good. And you know how you know that in your heart that is true? Because some of you guys saying what y'all are saying tonight are the same ones that would say they need competition. So what do you think would happen if they had competition? Again, when all of these games were at their prime, even though EA started first, fair point. But when they were in their prime, what was the best game on the field? I would still say I preferred Madden 05 because of the gameplay. I love 2K5 though. And 2K5 took a lot of my Madden time that year because they had the package of the presentation. They blew me away with that. I was like, whoa, this game looks phenomenal. It is ESPN Sunday Night Football. Looked and sounded just like it. First time I had seen first-person football. They won me with presentation. But I tell this story all the time. As the year went on, I found myself going back to Madden 05. Because I liked the way the gameplay was in Madden 05. This was before SimFBallCritic and fine-tooth comb picking through the footage. This is when I was just playing the game that I preferred, that felt the best. Madden 05 felt to me better than 2K5 on the field. But 2K5 was a better overall product in my opinion. So that's all I'm saying. I would have loved to have seen that play out. And again, game day, bruh, I'm going to tell you right now. Smitty knows this. Game day was on to something, Jack. Game day might have been the game, game day might have been the game that we talking about right now, since we doing all of these what ifs. We could very well right now be talking about NFL game day 20 dropping, and that's it. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself. It would have been hard to take out EA because they were just a huge, gigantic company even then. But I'm saying, game day 20 could very well have been the best product in today's era had they still been making a game. So just imagine that for a minute. So again, man, before I throw it to Smitty, it was Sony and 989 Sports. Before I throw it, Dad said game day is the Cool G rap of football games. Man, y'all ain't even gonna get that reference. Some of y'all. But yeah, before I throw it to Smitty, man, I would just say this, man. Again, it's an agree to disagree. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm not nothing like that. I'm not trying to say what I'm saying is correct. It's just the reality is I don't see a game getting in the market right now, a generic football game, because again, the NFL, I really do believe that the NFL could care less about another product. It's been so many years. They are happy with Madden, believe it or not, as a conglomerate. They're happy with Madden. Look at all of this smush, smush, kiss, kiss, kiss relationship that they have with Madden and the NFL. The ratings, for God's sakes, the ratings are talked about on ESPN SportsCenter. Come on. You see what I'm saying? That's the part, Smitty, that people are not looking at. It ain't so much us, the people, as y'all like to say. It's the masses of people. And the company that holds the power to allow another company to make an NFL game, they ain't thinking about that. That's what you guys have to understand. They're not. The NFL has shown no signs that they care about inviting another company in to make a football game at this point. Everyone's making money. Madden continues to pay for the license, and the NFL makes money off of that. as well as they make money off of sales, and EA Sports makes money off of sales and Ultimate Team. Everybody's happy. Chum, chum, chum. So there you have it. But yeah, Smitty, gotta throw it to you, man. Oh, Quarterback Club was official too. Don't listen. There was a bunch of games out there, guys. Don't get it
that's
twisted.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that's the thing. And I'll say this real quick. We greatly would appreciate it if people would smash that like button. Share this as well. We got 62 people watching right now with 15 likes. That would be greatly appreciated if you guys would hit that like button and please share it if you don't mind. We would greatly appreciate that. But
NFL FIFA. Oh, you know what? I can't forget FIFA. FIFA. FIFA was creeping up in there, boy. By what? FIFA. What, 05 maybe? Which one of them had Peyton on the cover?
You said had Vic? Ooh, I don't
know. Peyton Manning.
Peyton was on multiple covers, I thought.
He might have been.
Because they did Fever what? 2, 3, 4? 04 was the last one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was one of those. That last one was starting to turn the corner.
On the cover. Peyton was on that 04 cover.
Oh, man.
Oh, you said all the Fevers was Peyton.
Okay, right. Yeah, I couldn't remember that.
All right. But see, that's the thing. NFL Fever, NFL Game Day, Quarterback Club, Madden, 2K. Like, look, 5 dang on games. Man, you know what I'm saying?
Game day.
Then you had arcade games and stuff. You had Blitz. You had wait, no, was it just Blitz? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, just Blitz. But
you talk about a franchise, a storyline. What? Blitz the league? Can you imagine having them stories? Oh my goodness! Wow.
That's what I'm saying. See, this is the thing. That's the way Sim was talking a few minutes ago about Madden and having that kind of decision. Man, what game you gonna play? What game? Having that kind of conscious decision today. See, that's the kind of decision I had back with basketball games as well. Because I remember one year, and I worked in the store. Like, I used to work at a store, media play back then. So I worked in the games department. So I'm around all the stuff. And I'm up here, like, looking at my check, like, man, look. Basketball games coming out. Got this NBA Live. Got this NBA 2K. Got In the Zone. You know what I'm saying? And look. You still had, if you had an N64, which I had one of those at the time too, you got NBA Courtside. That was Kobe Bryant's joint. You had that, and
Inside Drive. Remember that?
Yeah, well,
the Microsoft
joint. That
was
joint. Later. That was on there.
Yeah, that was a little later.
That was later. But dang,
what was the name of that joint? You might have just said it. What was that? I think it was a Sony one.
Yeah, the Sony joint. NBA Shootout. There it is. NBA Shootout.
Yeah.
See, like, you had all them joints. And you would have years, and I'm talking about consistently with the years. You had those years where you had those games coming out. You said the Konami game with Glenn Rice. Yeah, that's In the Zone. The Glenn Rice, that's In the Zone.
Well, none of them better than Arch Rivals, though.
Arch Rivals.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, yo. I used to play that game like crazy. Oh, man.
You know what? The other one I was kind of slept on though was Pigskin.
Oh yeah,
that was slept on, like right there. But see, that's what I'm saying. There were years where you had those decisions. Dang, do I want to get this? All right, but how am I going to find time, man? How am I going to have time to play this, man? And how am I going to have time to play that? Because you enjoyed those games and you had those choices. And that's the whole thing. What if In the Zone was still being made right now, right? 2K and all that stuff. What if they're still being made? Yeah, NBA Fast Break. That's another one that was made. Like, they made that for a few years. You had a lot of options. And that's the cool thing about it. You had a lot of options. Yes, it eventually, it all wound down. Ultimately, it wound down to 2K and EA. That was it, right? It came down to those two games being the main ones. But the thing is that, oh man, you gonna say Coach K breaking the backboard? Come on, Sim. You know
Corliss
what I'm saying?
Williamson, baby.
Right, you know what
That's
I'm
all I
saying?
would play with is them and Corliss Williamson. Bam! Like I know I'm breaking that joint every time. Oh man.
See, that's what we talking. We going back to them Genesis days, man. You know what I'm talking about? That was woo. Boy, next we're gonna be talking about Bill Walsh. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Bill Walsh, college football and all that stuff, and then Sega Sports had their joint, which their joint was on point. So, but yeah, man. And see, this is what we're talking about. The mystique of what those games brought to the table. All of them brought gameplay to the table. All of them brought gameplay in their own unique way to the table. It was just a matter of, okay, which ones are going to stand out accordingly, right? And that's it. But like what's being said even in the chat, and like what Sim said too, eventually I ended up playing live in 2K the most. That was it. I played live in 2K the most over any other basketball game I would have. Like if I had NBA Shootout, I'd play that for a bit, or I may go to Blockbuster and I'll rent it. I'll be like, I know I'm getting live, I know I'm getting this 2K, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that. I don't know. I got to see about Shootout. I got to see what's up with that. Like I play it, I enjoy it, right? I don't know. I may get in the zone a lot later. I may get that joint later. I play it, enjoy it. It's like, okay, yeah, these are some good games, man. These are some good games, and that's the whole thing when we're looking at, bringing it back to the football side of it here. But if we had the competition right now, and we had these different games, just like you said, game day brought the noise. Look at where MLB The Show is at right now.
Man.
Just think where NFL Game Day 20 right now.
I can't imagine it, man. Y'all talk about dynamic weather.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They won me over just with the thunder when you had bruh.
That
when
hit.
you hit somebody hard in that joint with thunder and lightning. I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't realize that I was such an immersion fan until then. I'm not gonna lie. Cause Smitty knows this. Like we were younger people then. Like for real. We was young. And when I seen that, I was like, oh, the thunder? And that's all I wanted to do was try to lay somebody out. So the immersion, it had me. And right then I knew, okay, so I like other things now. But I don't just like gameplay.
But see, you know what? The other thing though too was, Sim, was that I liked with the gameplay in that game was how you could drag multiple defenders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. They were doing things to establish themselves from the stat quo, and which was basically Madden, because Madden was the game then. But I mean, you get a defender on, you're able to run a few yards. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you had somebody powerful like Jerome Bettis was the cover guy with Game Day 98, so he was a cover guy. Dragging multiple defenders, playing in the rain and everything, raining and all that, and all, thundering and everything. Man, all that stuff, that detail then, I mean, it was a big deal then, but that's the whole thing. You dragging defenders all the way back then. What about how could it be today, looking at the show and what that has? You're talking about player authenticity being replicated. I mean, we wouldn't. 2K would be an afterthought in that regard, because it would be these guys. It'd be these guys. They have all these batting stances, old school players, new school players, generically made up stuff. All of it, it's there. Detail to the players, detail to the crowds, detail to the stadiums. All these things, the commentary, the stat overlays, everything. the story, basically the in-game storyboard that will be going on. You have stories that are developing as you're playing the game and all that good stuff. Man, please, all that stuff that's in the show, and you're telling, and we talking about how and that's what I'm saying. Everybody kicking for 2K to make it. No, they be the ones. Sony would be the ones that I'd be like, yo, they need to make this game pronto because of what they
Yep.
bring to the table.
I've been
You
saying
see
it.
what I'm saying? That's it because of that authenticity that they do with the baseball, and even back then, they were the ones like Sim said. EA wasn't worried about 2K. That's what people keep on saying that they're scared of 2K. They had no concern about 2K. Even though, and I mean, think about that. Back then, Dreamcast came out what 99.
Mm-hmm.
They Madden wasn't able to really make that graphical leap until what was that 2000? Yeah, counting the following year because PlayStation 2 came out. So they weren't able to make that leap yet, and but they weren't concerned about them. They were concerned about Sony. You see what I'm saying? They were concerned about Sony's game. That says a heck of a lot right there. That is a big test, especially that's a big time testament, especially the fact that you were you were competing with Sega for the longest time. For the longest time. Joe Montana football and all that stuff. So you were competing with them all that time. As soon as Sony says, you know what, we getting involved. Oh snap, they did what? Oh wow. Okay, yeah. All right. We have to do something. So no, that's who I would want to make a game without question. But yeah, man, oh my goodness. Like I said, there's so many things. There's so many things from the community standpoint that people would be going buck wild and crazy about core gameplay, modes, ratings, and everything. The fiasco. I mean, it would be off the wall to see multiple games showcasing player ratings. Everybody, and I mean, this is what has to be understood. It You would have these three companies going back and forth making games. But the thing is, not all of them, and that's the one thing that's going to happen. Not all of them are going to come in first place. Somebody's going, you know what I mean? Somebody's going to be the best at some point, and that would be the most beautiful thing about it because we would have three games on this high tier platform that if we ain't feeling what's in Madden, all right, well I'll play 2K. You know what? But 2K they doing this and third. I ain't really feeling that. Well, let me go ahead and fire up this game day. Oh, you know what? I like this that they have in Madden, so I'm gonna play Madden. I like what they have over here, and something like the beauty of having those choices are huge. And there's so many things that we'll be able to appreciate from all three. Like you look at the presentation 2K has, right? Sony would push all of them. Yeah, I believe, in my opinion, Sony would push all of them in regards to presentation. Um, when you look at players being authentically replicated, I think you would see Madden would get pushed the hardest, but they would be pushed by both 2K and Sony in that regard. You know what I'm saying? Audio, commentary, like I don't know. I think I don't know. I think you could push that I want to say that would be a push to an extent because in my opinion they all have good commentaries in their own means. They're all good. Uh, um, so I just think that it would be a big time push in that regard. Between the three, it would be a stalemate. And see, this is the other part too, Sim. And this is kind of going outside of it just for a hot second. I'll throw it back to you. Look at, like I said when I was streaming the other day. Look at when NHL put out that gameplay trailer. Yeah, was it 2 days ago or whatever? When they put that out, and what DJ was saying, and that's true. They said they're not gonna have the NBC presentation package no more. So Now they're doing their own thing. And it's like, look at, I mean, if the stuff they shown in that video is how the game, how it's going to be in game when you score a goal, I'm like, what the fudge? Why isn't this done in Madden? You know what I'm saying? Why don't we have that level of detail? And I mean, if you guys haven't saw it, look it up and check it out. If you see how the overlay looked when they scored a goal, I mean, I would have. The way I look at it is, oh, they're just doing that for the trailer, and that's it. But it looks like that's in game. Like those overlays when you score goals and all that stuff, like they had the big old graphic come up say goal on screen when Ovechkin scored a goal and everything. And it's like, wow, like they got this stuff popping. Like, yo, it okay, all right. I want to see what these guys got. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the level of detail that they go for in NHL, I need to see them doing that. I need to see them making those big time attempts with Madden. Now, this could be the beginning with Madden 20. This could be the beginning. And listening to the stream, which I know we're going to get to in a moment, but listening to that stream, a lot of the stuff they talk about, future installments, future installments. It's like this is the groundwork for what's going to keep being built upon and what's going to continuously keep on going. And that's the key thing that has to happen in regards to this game. It's got to be a continuous movement. It can't just be, oh, well, this is a one off, and then we'll see how people feel, and then we'll see what happens next year. It's got to be, from a studio standpoint, this is the creative arc, and this is what it's going to be. You could feel how you want to feel, but this is how it's going to be, regardless of how people feel. And then what's going to end up happening is people are just going to have, they're just going to adjust. Now, if they don't want to adjust, they're just going to get left behind. And that's just it. But that's kind of what needs to happen at this point. It can't keep being somebody's got to get coddled at the end of the day. They got to get, it's time to start making people adjust, or folk just gonna have to start falling to the background. So, but I'll throw it to you, Sim.
Oh, oh,
Can you
guys,
hear it?
guys. Yeah, my microphone was muted. My microphone was muted. I'm glad you guys had put that in the chat. I don't know how long I was talking there. But basically, I will sum it up here. All I was saying was before we move on to the next topic. See, and let me say this to y'all. The reason why I was muted is because I try to mute it while I'm typing so you guys don't hear the clickety clack. But then I got to remember, I got to go back to OBS and unmute it. And, it's hard to remember because Smitty can still hear me, obviously, because we're talking on Skype. So there's really no indication to me that y'all can't hear me if I forget. Except you guys did write it in there, so man, I appreciate that. But all right, man, I'm gonna make it quick. All I was saying was I don't see another company get back into the race unless it is a licensed product. That's basically all I was saying. Unless it's licensed with NFL teams and licensing and NCAA licensed, I don't expect any other company, as far as AAA title or AAA capability, to make a football game unless it's on those terms. Because I get what some of you guys are saying. It's a different age now, and it's social media. I get all of that, but as much as y'all will say that, I will make the same argument that a game like Madden is just too big of a household name to draw enough sales away from them to allow an unlicensed product to win. I just don't see it happening. So we're just gonna have to deal with it, man. We're just gonna have to sit here and. The EA execs are going to improve the game at their pace. That's just how it is. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. But speaking of that, let's talk about the stream a little bit, man, and then we'll get out of here. I'll start it off, Smitty. My biggest takeaway from it, just to give you guys a peek behind my crazy mind and how I think. This is coming from a perspective of I'm looking at it, Smitty, like how it was last year, right? At least one of us at that time had seen or had been a partially part of the process during the year, so we kind of knew what was coming. So by the time the beta hit, we had an idea, and then, the whole EA play, and, we've been in those situations where we've seen it step by step by step. So we could kind of understand where the game is probably going to be from beta to final product. In my experience in the past, there really hasn't been a jump from beta to final product in terms of introducing more things. This is probably the first time I've seen that. I have seen, and I told you guys before, I've seen a time where I've gone down in, mid-spring, gave some feedback, and again, I don't take credit for much, but I was very vocal about, having the ability to click down on the right stick and the closest person runs after the quarterback instead of it having to be who you had in spy. So I would like to say I was very instrumental in getting that change, because when I came back later that summer, it had been changed. And I was told when I walked in there, hey, man, remember that feature you wanted? It's in the game now. I was like, great. That's the most I've ever seen. I think, Smitty, that time when the Audible thing changed, can't remember what year that was, but that was something that I remember going down, wintertime, somewhere around there, January, February. We gave feedback. We come back later on in the spring or the summer, and it was implemented. But my reason for telling you guys this is I don't usually, in my tenure there, I haven't seen the amount of changes. Let me get my notes here from earlier. Y'all going to hear me with the paper. I haven't seen these type of changes go into a game from the beta point. Now, let's get technical. We don't know, what build the beta was on, and we don't know, but needless to say, they advertised it to us as saying that these were updates based off of you guys' feedback. But the biggest thing that I did take away, Smitty, was the fact that, I'm not going to go through all of these things. I actually have a separate video doing that. They didn't change anything. That was my biggest concern. Most of us felt good about where the beta was at. Some of you guys here that are watching tonight were able to play the beta. You had your opinions, and it's not perfect. There's things, of course, that we still have feedback about, and there's things that, of course, we still need to see them do going forward. One of the things that kind of stuck out, Smitty, like a sore thumb, was I did hear Clint say that they didn't touch zones. And I had a few people comment on my video earlier saying they didn't fix zones, and I want to be very clear. With dealing with these devs, you have to listen to what they're saying very carefully. The interpretation is important too. He said they didn't touch zones, meaning they didn't really do anything different from what they were already at. But when you say fix, I always like people to give me examples, because some people will just say zones are broken. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with them? Oh, they're broken. This guy doesn't play da-da-da-da-da-da. But we all know, and I'm glad guys like DSK and NYK are in here because they can attest to this. Sometimes you guys just don't know the responsibilities. Let's just be real. You don't know the responsibilities. A lot of times guys are doing match coverage. They don't know necessarily what that means. Or, you run a palms concept and things like that, and you get palms versus trips and all, and you don't really know what your guys are supposed to be doing, even though NYK has done a phenomenal job doing this on YouTube, as well as A-Dub, Anthony White himself, has videos on his channel, EA Playmaker, explaining how they do coverages in Madden. This was for Madden 19. Explaining their cover fours and what they do with a solo and the special checks and all that jazz. It's all out there, right? However, guys like NYK and DSK and even myself, I could put myself in that category. There are things that the game still has trouble with. It struggles with certain route combinations and certain checks. When it's facing trips and things like that. Those are things that I've talked to A-Dub about that he knows, and they're still working towards getting a lot of these things addressed. It's a logic thing. But for the most part, I honestly, Smitty, and I definitely want something done here. If you remember, you can come in and give your thoughts on that. I don't think the zones are necessarily broken. I think the zones are playing pretty decent, especially with these guys' abilities and things. But again, there are problems with the zones. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying zones are fine. But I don't think that you can put a blanket statement and say zones are bad, zones are trash. Because again, here's another thing that happens a lot of times when you watch people complain. They're playing with players that are not that good. That happens sometimes. And you're expecting the guy to make a play all the time, or they're going up against an elite receiver. I mean, it's so many different factors. So that's why I prefer to hear specific examples. And that's why, I love when, a guy like Kia or DSK, and there's many others. I'm just saying that because these guys are here tonight. I love when they tell you what's wrong with the coverage, because these guys are analyzing what should happen, why it didn't happen, why this guy didn't get there. Was it too much on the front end where, the pass rush wasn't? I mean, it's so many variables. So you can't just blindly just say zones are broken. But I didn't want to go off on that tangent. But other than that, man, what made me perk up a little bit was that 5th year option. It's bittersweet, Smitty, because let me preference my bittersweet comment with this. Going in, guys, I didn't expect anything groundbreaking to be put in franchise that we didn't see in the beta. It just doesn't work like that. It wouldn't have made sense for them to be holding back features and then just give us this bang when the game comes out, because obviously they want you to test things. Obviously the purpose of the beta is to test. You heard Clint say a lot today. There were certain things that we kind of had a feeling that people was going to feel this way. So in layman's terms, he was saying, yeah, we left the beta that way, to see what feedback we would get, we were already prepared to fix said thing. And that theme was running all through his explanations, if you guys didn't catch that. So that's how I felt about the beta as well. Why would they have all of these ginormous amount of upgrades and different features that come in franchise? No. It don't work like that. Especially when they know franchise has been the biggest bugaboo. They're not going to play a peekaboo game with us and say, oh, we're not going to let you see us until the end. They not, no. If anything, you get out in front of it and you advertise, look at all this stuff we've done in franchise. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know why anybody was expecting that. But let me get to the positive. This scenario engine, Smitty, and people in the chat, this thing is intriguing. Because we all felt like after the beta that it was kind of bare bones, and, I expected that. So they confirmed today that there will be more and more scenarios at launch, as well as there would be more scenarios coming post-launch and continuous development and all of that stuff. But then they talked about the 5th-year option. See, that I hadn't heard anything about that at all. But what's bittersweet, now I can get to my original point, I still want to see contracts and roster management overhauled. We still need to be able to do the things that we could want to do in Madden. If you look at modern day games, we still need to be able to do the things that you can do in 2K basketball and MLB The Show and I believe NHL. You need to be able to structure contracts the way you want. Front load, back load, guarantees, all that type of stuff. And along with that, there need to be some type of pitch or something that you have to sell a guy on to make him want to restructure his contract. All of the above. Y'all know what I'm saying. I still want that type of system. But I do acknowledge that the scenario engine is going to be interesting because I want to know how they're going to handle that. Is it going to be just a simple, do you want to give him a 5th-year option, yay or nay? And then if you decide not to, does he hold out? Because remember they said that in the blog some weeks ago or months ago now, that guys might hold out. You might get an Antonio Brown or a Le'Veon Bell situation. So I'm a little intrigued by this scenario engine. Now I've just glanced over in the chat, and Keith Moore said, "Do we think it sounds kind of scripted?" Well, I gotta be honest here. I don't know how to answer that because
they're pulling from headline stuff.
Exactly.
So, it's coming from stuff that happened in the league.
Right.
And that's what they said. So is it gonna have a level of scripted? Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be from things that you would potentially see happen in the NFL. So there's gonna be some parity with it. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one because I think I know what he's trying to ask Smitty, but it's the same thing, and I'll go off on a 30-second tangent really quick, but it's the same thing when we used to talk about dynamic gameplay, and people would always just say, generically, they would say, I hate scripted animations. But technically, every animation is scripted. The only thing that's on the fly is how it plays out. That's pretty much how every game works, even the good ones. I'm talking your FIFAs, your PES, even 2K has dived in that world a little bit now. The animation, of course, is scripted. You have to. What do you guys think mocap is? Those are scripted animations. But what's unscripted is how they play out because of scenario, physics, mass, etc., etc. So I think that's what he's asking. But yeah, that's probably, going to be how it's going to be. Now, I would like to see it a little more dynamic. And I'm saying that without even seeing it. Like, we haven't seen the full scope of it, but I would prefer it to be exactly what Smitty said. I want way more storylines and have that thing, as long as it's quote unquote scripted based off of what's happening in the league, I'm cool with that. Because here's a scripted scenario, Smitty, that I would be cool with. me and Smitty in the league, right? Smitty got the Lions, I got the Steelers, and they decide, Smitty, for whatever reason, Matthew Stafford balls out. Smitty says, you know what? Next year we gonna sign this dude to a $200 million deal. Okay, here comes the script. Quarterback gets more money, your quarterback doesn't like it. So here comes the dynamic scenario off of the scripted situation. Roethlisberger like, hold on now. Wait a minute, I put up more, stats than him. There's no way we're gonna let him get $40 million a year. I need to be at $50 million. Y'all see what I'm saying? That right there, yeah, it's technically scripted, but I'm cool with that because it's based off of what's happening in the league. So now again, we don't know. We're just saying if it's like that. I have zero idea because it was bare bones. I mean, chicken bone bare in that beta. It was like vanilla, like yay, nay, and that was it.
Yeah. So
we shall see. Other than that, let me see what else that really stuck out, man. Like I said, I don't want to go through everything because, I kind of covered that earlier in the vid. I do like the hidden trait, Smitty, but I don't understand. What is it about that? Why won't they just do that for everybody?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you come off of the star. Now, for you guys that don't know, what they advertised in the beginning was for superstar players and X Factor guys. If you draft one of these guys, their dev trait will be hidden, and you're forced to play with them, which I love that. You're forced to play these guys, and I don't think we know beforehand what the threshold is, but you have to play them in order to reveal their dev trait. Now, I gave feedback from the beta saying I don't like that it's only those two traits. And the reason why is because, perfect example, okay, in the beta I played with the Steelers, Devin Bush, okay? Devin Bush, his dev trait was hidden, and I was like, well, at the very worst, I know he's a superstar. So to me, it took away the immersion of having to find out what he's going to be. I knew he couldn't be no worse than a superstar dev trait because only the top two ones had it hidden. So what they've done now is it would be star developers, superstar development, and then the X Factor or elite development. But normal will still be the same. But my point is, why don't you just, why y'all holding on to this? Why must we know the dev traits for just one category? Take them all away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, I don't understand that. Just my little soapbox there. I'm glad that they did bend a little bit, but I really want to know why won't they just wipe it off completely? I mean, what's the fear? There must be something there where they're feeling like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's about it, man. I'll throw it to you. It was other things that I have here, but I guess my bottom line, really quick, is that I was happy to see that they did not touch pass rush, obviously. Yeah. And it doesn't appear that they are affecting anything in a negative fashion. And it appears that they're going into this thing. This is how we designed it. This is our vision. You got to learn. If it's broken, we'll fix it. If you're just having difficulty with it, get your game up. And I'm hoping they're going to keep that energy throughout the cycle. I do not want to hear y'all patching, trying to get... No. Keep the same energy that you have now in developing the game throughout the cycle and as you continue on to the next year. So those are my early thoughts, man. And real quick, and then Smitty's going to come on. Shout outs to Kendall and Keith Moore as well for the donations. Round of applause to those fellas.
Yes, sir.
We definitely appreciate you guys, man.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
All right, Smitty, man, what was your big takeaway from what all we learned today? Your likes, dislikes, and just, I guess, overall feelings, man.
Well, basically, like, my overall feeling is that I'm pleased that they stood their ground. You know what I'm saying? That they didn't change anything, they didn't adjust anything that didn't need to be adjusted. They left the pass rush alone. Yes, yes. And the fact that they're basically addressing bugs and things like that. And like what was said earlier in here, I think it was it King Arthur in the chat said like a lot of people don't necessarily look at the ratings of players when it comes to zone defense. And excuse me. And see, that's one thing for me personally. I know I'm gonna have to be looking out for that. My secondary is not gonna make a ton of plays like that. I already know because the Lions don't have a great secondary. So I'm not going to be looking at zone play like, OMG, how come they didn't make every single play? But when it's a logical play and they should be able to make it, and if they don't, then that's what I'm going to question. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to look at and say, maybe this is wrong. Maybe this is an error. Like, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, no. Like, my guys out there, they shouldn't be able, like, the storm has to be dang near perfect in order for him to make the play. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing. Like with the rating stretch and everything they did, I'm glad because once again, you have to really pay attention to your personnel now. You got to pay attention to their skills. What are they good or bad at? And keep all that in mind. So, as far as like Sim was talking about the Infinity. Excuse me, the Infinity, the scenario engine, and Um, the way I feel about it right now is this. It's something that I won't honestly be able to evaluate until at least a few months post launch.
Yeah.
Because think about it. It's like this. That's like us playing the beta, right? And let's say if we were able to access Ultimate Team and we start playing that, none of the programs have rolled out yet. So it's like we're just going to be playing with base cards and saying, oh, well, there's a lot more that needs, they left a lot to be desired with it, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, but the season hasn't started yet. We don't know what kind of cards they're going to have. We don't know what kind of cards, what kind of programs, what kind of this, what kind of that. We don't know none of that yet. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not there isn't enough depth in that mode yet, and because it's driven by live service, just like how franchise is going to be this year. So it's that same principle of
Good point,
we have to
Smitty.
wait. You know what I'm saying?
That's gonna
And
be
see,
interesting to see how that
yeah,
unfolds. Yeah.
because even what my man Swami, shout out to him and happy birthday to that man as well. But the thing is that, like he was saying, when the game launches, it's going to have more scenarios and things like that in it. But also, this is something that we're going to be updating throughout the course of the year and going into the future. So it's like it is going back to what the article was talking about in that context from months ago. But at the same time, it still is going to be in that similar kind of context of how deep is this well honestly going to go as far as this inaugural year of it. What kind of storylines are we going to get? How's it all going to be updated? How is it going to be impactful in regards of seasons? You know what I mean? While I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing my seasons and stuff, that you know, it, like for example, when stuff. I mean, I know it's not as simple as like, well, adjusting a rating or something like that. But what I'm saying is like, as far as these storylines, like, what if you have some storylines unfold during the course of the season? Are you going to be able to take any of those kind of storylines, and would that be something that you can update that something that happened from this year and be able to actually put it into the game this year? Like if you're going to be able to do that kind of stuff, or is it more of we have stuff that we'll just periodically be able to update things here and there, whether it's stuff they already have or is it stuff that can, like I said, happen during the course of the season. And then, like let's say I don't know, let's say the first 4 or 5 weeks of the NFL season, and then they take from that and they're able to generate storylines and things like that and update it at a later point. Like, let's say they're not able to do an update until like December or whatever, right? So, will they be able to do something like that on top of whatever content it is that they personally already have planned? That's what I'm curious about. You see what I'm saying? So, and even if the situations are dice roll, it's still all of it has to have a beginning. You got to start somewhere with it. My main thing is growth. Functionality of it and how it grows accordingly. So if I can see the promise in it and say, "Oh, yo, even though this is the principal functionality, the principal nature of how it works, yo, I can see this thing being something beastly if they continuously do this, that, and the third on it." So that's all that's the key is to look at this and going back to the article they talked about these kind of things, playing a role in regards to the future because it's going to be an investment now. They're going to invest in that kind of stuff for the franchise mode. So this is year one. Let's see what they do. But yeah, live service, and that's the key word, the live service. So it's like, yes, we just won't have the scenarios they put in at launch or the content they put in at launch and then they're done. There's gonna be more to it than that. So, hey, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with what they're doing, man. The stream was more gratifying beyond anything because even though, especially on the franchise tip, I know gameplay wise, but on the franchise tip too, because even with what they do have, even though it may not necessarily be a ton at this point in time, it's like they were able to give a bit more of an explanation of what's happening with franchise. So I appreciate that. Or at least at this point, like where it'll be at this initial point. So, yeah. So I was pleased with it.
Yeah, man, I like the transparency that they seem to be showing once again. I mean, we remember the times, man. I mean, you've heard Smitty right here on this show pound for it when we used to have those playbooks, and we still don't quite have that, but a little bit, but it's not like it used to be. Remember, man, I want to say it might have been like Madden 15 or one of those where they would show, it was footage from the game on each and every one of them playbooks, even if it was just like the alpha, like the prototype version, they would at least show you. And I just think, regardless of how much they show, because I see people already saying, man, where's the gameplay? And I know we go through that every year. None of that stuff honestly really matters, man. I mean, we saw the gameplay at EA Play. They put a bunch of it out there. Not a bunch, but they showed us all of the arcade stuff, which doesn't tell us anything. The beta was out there. So gameplay videos, to me, although it might give you a glimpse, it doesn't really tell you nothing, man, until you play it, because the game is not going to change but so much per year where you can just look at it and see what's different. You might catch a few things, but all in all, I just like the transparency, man. Just tell us what it is. We've been preaching that since we've been going down there. Tell the people what's going on. And, and to be honest, and I'm going to give a shout out real quick, man, to SGO, Sports Gamers Online. In his interviews, every time he interviews Clint, and when I had opportunities to interview him as well, Clint will be very candid, man. If you just ask him the right question, he'll tell you exactly. And Rex used to even go even further, but Clint will basically say, "Nah, we didn't get to that. That's something that like." They literally will tell you what they're doing and what they're not doing. We just need y'all to be in front of the camera more. That's it. And I think that's a marketing thing. Put them dudes in front of the camera, because when they are backed into a corner, so to speak, they are going to tell you exactly what's happening. I can honestly say I've never felt like Clint was giving us the corporate answer. At least I haven't. When you say, is this going to be there? Is that going to be there? He openly says, no, we didn't get to that. And it's not no excuse around it. He just says, no, we didn't get to that. That's something we want to get to. We didn't get to it. So that's all, man. That's really all I got as far as, that whole thing. I just like the transparency. Keep doing that. Tell us what's happening, whether we're gonna like it or not. And if you are open about it, we gotta accept it. Be mad or be glad. That's the better way to handle it. I do like the fact, Smitty, that he said they talked about the new blocking feature with the tight ends, where you can decide when you want these guys to release. I like having the control to do that. And I'm very interested in knowing what additional feature was Clint alluding to centered around blocking. I hope it's the ability for you to choose who to double team. That would be major. To me, this is just my opinion, it sounds something like that to me would go with this whole theme of what they're promoting with, you having to be able to keep your eyes on an Aaron Donald or, a pass rusher that's elite and terrifying. It would make sense for you now to be able to decide on the fly, okay, double team him. If you see Aaron Donald is lined up in a certain technique in the inside, double him. Let's don't worry about nobody else. We got a better matchup out here. I want you to double team that guy. Same thing with edge rushing. If I can tell the line, or even, maybe that'll go along with the whole check, block and release thing. Maybe I could tell the tight end, help block him. Block Von Miller along with the tackle there. Give me some extra time. That would be a cool feature now that pass rush is going to be a factor. So we'll see. I don't know, and guys, I promise you, my hand to God, I do not know. I'm not giving you a peek into the future. I have no idea. I'm completely speculating. I'm hoping it's something like that, since Clint did say specifically it's centered around blocking. But we shall see, man. Was there anything else that we needed to discuss? What about the X Factor vision? I appreciate that. I want to be able to definitely see what people are doing and know what they're doing. Sick with it says, wasn't there supposed to be O-line X Factors? I don't know myself. Not sure about that. I did see some people say a few weeks ago that Clint or somebody did say that there would be linemen with X Factor abilities. I don't know that to be true, so I can't answer that. I don't have the answer to that. Let's see. What else we got here in the chat, Smitty? King Arthur said, oh, you know what? Let me go back and answer your original question, and I'll answer both of your questions here. King Arthur said he wanted to know, do we think the scenario could end up branching into larger, more dynamic scenarios based on the players involved? I think so. Again, if I'm going back and reflecting on the blog that they did, excuse me, if we reflect back on the blog that they did originally, and they said that you would get Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown type situations, that sounds like the scenario engine is playing off of who the guy is. They also now, which I think it's similar to confidence, but I see that they now have a rating when you play the game in franchise. You'll see morale. So, again, the blog was alluding to guys having personality and morale, etc., etc. If that stuff is true, then yes, I think that the scenario engine would more likely be able to branch into something, and it might be more impactful because of who this guy is. That would be great. That would be a great way to tie it in. And then your other question here is, you said, what would I think the risk would be for doubling certain players? Oh, man. There's a whole lot of scenarios you could come up with there. You obviously could leave somebody wide open. You could not realize that you created a mismatch with another, an opponent that you didn't think, was better than whoever you have blocking him one-on-one. Could be some miscues. It's a lot of things that could happen from that. I mean, it definitely needs to be some type of risk reward. Automatically you would think the risk would be you're leaving somebody else on the island, and you're hoping that he can do the job on his own rather than having any other type of help. So there's a lot of things that could come from that. He says EA said that there's 10 old linemen X Factor that launch. Okay, well, I guess that answers the question. DSK says the entire choose who to double team thing is not remotely close to being realistic, but tight ends chipping and DN is legit. You're right. You know what, DSK, you are absolutely right about that. Because, and see, I'm glad he said that, and then I'll throw it back to Smitty. What you just said is absolutely correct. In the real world, even when I played ball, there was never a time when, I was in the backfield, but we all communicated, right? There was never a time when the quarterback or any of us say, yo, block, double him. That was never, even if you have the mindset to do that. For example, let me explain it a better way. You can have the idea to do that, but where it becomes unrealistic in a video game is if you do that, they're probably not going to react and block somebody else accordingly if a double team is not necessary. Perfect example I could give you that in the real world is you do a pull or something like that, or a power, and you have a certain person that you all are going to kick out or maybe do a double on, but somebody might bust through the line, or maybe that guy's no longer there and it doesn't require a double team, or maybe you need to block the first person that crosses your face. And that's the realistic side of it. Whereas in the game, if we are able to say double this guy, then like DSK said, that's not going to be necessarily a realistic situation, because it could cause some problems as well. So, yep, I would have to agree with him. That's not necessarily how it's done in the real world. But I don't know. That's a tough balance when we start getting into those minute details like that. Yeah, like he just said, I was actually just getting ready to say that. The alignment and everything is definitely going to determine who you block. So, yeah, I fully agree with DSK there, but we'll see. Knowing Madden, that's probably going to be the feature. I just can't think of anything else it would be. I don't know. So, we'll see. Anything else, Smitty, you want to hit on, man, that we didn't?
No, I don't have anything else. Nothing else I could think of specifically.
Yeah, Kia followed up too and said, you would have to change your entire protection scheme to double team a specific player regardless of where he's aligned. That's practice during the week. That's pretty tough to do on the fly in game. And he's absolutely right. See, and this is where we get into trouble, guys. Y'all always hear me say sometimes there are certain simulation aspects that a lot of us may want that is very hard to accomplish in a video game. Because you are absolutely right. And even though I would be in a Madden world, I would slightly be in favor of being able to do it, but it's not realistic because it doesn't work that way in the real world. It absolutely does not. Like I said, even when I played football, man, we would have an idea, but it's very simple. If the guy was lined up and, if he's lined up over the center or splitting the gaps or, certain technique, it's a lot of different things that we used to do to combat that if it was a disruptive guy. Sometimes we would do something as simple as just audible. We would have blocking audibles to where we would be like, kill, now it's going to just be a normal assignment. Like, don't even. So, yeah, I would have to kind of, agree. Not even kind of. I fully agree with Kia and DSK that, yeah, it don't work. It's not that simply, done as it would be done in Madden. It's not done that easy in the real world. It's a lot more game planning involved with that. But let's have some fun with it real quick, guys, before we wrap up. Really quick. I want to get a few chats for some of you guys. What do you guys think it is? For you guys that didn't hear it, Clint said that they have another feature that's centered around blocking. And I know that's kind of vague. It could be anything. But he says it's involving blocking, that they will be introducing, and a title update, and they weren't willing to talk about it today. The first feature that he talked about today was tight ends being able to control when they release on block and release. You now can manually tell your guy when to release, and not only can you do that, his ratings will affect how effective he is or how soon he responds, to the action. So he said there's another feature coming. So what do you guys think it might be? Kia says, I immediately thought of lead blocking control.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a good guess, Kia, because we all know that, yes, Madden does like to bring back previous features into their game. Brooklyn Bully says it's controlling our fullback like old Madden running play. Yeah, that's kind of what Kia is saying. DSK says tight ends chipping a DN as they start their route. Okay.
Hold on, didn't Clint say that today?
I don't remember. He may have. The only thing I remember him saying was, I just remember him saying something about the check, the check and release point where you can manually tell them when to release. So like you can combat pressure if somebody's screaming off the edge. You can tell them, boom, release now, get him the ball really quick. I don't recall, and maybe, I recorded it, so I can go back and listen to it. But I don't remember if he said something about chipping or not. He may have. Yeah, it looks like a few of you guys are saying the lead block capability. What you think, Smitty? What do you think it could possibly be?
Man, I don't know, man. I mean, lead block controls would be a safe yes, but I mean, another feature on the line. I mean, I don't know, man. What would be cool to me is if they brought back the analog controls on the D line, like that would be sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like I would definitely be cool with that being brought back. But I don't. Yeah, that would be my guess. Is that control being brought back possibly?
Yeah. See,
that's all.
See, me and Smitty thinking along the same lines. I don't want to psych myself out, but I'm really hoping that when he said it centers around blocking, that was a vague answer, and I'm hoping that it has something to do with the trenches and the D line. Some type of control, like Smitty said. I would love to have dedicated controls. Number one, that's something I want. I want to be able to bull rush when I want to, rip, club, whatever you want to call them, or even if you're gonna tag them, finesse and power. I want to be able to control the actual move every time. Spin. I don't want it to just be, what's he going to do this time? I'm telling him to do a finesse move, or what's it going to be? No. I want dedicated pass rush moves. That's one thing. But then also, I would like Smitty said, I would like to get to a point, man, where you're using the right analog stick to control the upper body. Like, along with those moves, you're using the stick to do, well, I guess it's the same thing, really, because you could pull it off, rotate the stick, like a spin, and rotate it the opposite way, spins the opposite way, press down, maybe that could be like a bull rush, or press up, that could, press to the left, to the right, it could be a swim or a rip. That's what I want. Independent pass rush moves and make the trenches less stagnant. Let's see some fighting going on in there. So, but we probably being a little too advantageous, man, because he said blocking. I just hope that If anything, he's throwing us off with just saying, "Oh, it has something to do with blocking," which technically it does. But I don't know. I'm hoping for the best though. But Kia had to come in here and spoil it, man. He's probably absolutely right. It's probably lead blocking control, something like that. But well, we shall see. But that's it, guys. We ain't got nothing else, man. The only last thing I will say is just to follow up what Smitty said is I am very interested in seeing what this whole, franchise as a live service, what does that mean? How often will things be updated? Is it going to be a similar schedule as Mutt? Where they're updating content, and you would expect the content will be scenarios more than likely. But also, will there be continuous development as far as features and franchise? They already said that there would be gameplay stuff coming. So, again, with it being a live service, there's open possibilities there. So, we'll see. But other than that, hold on, y'all. DSK says, wait, Sim. Who all is raiding Area 51? Have you guys heard about that?
No, I ain't heard about that.
Oh Lord! So apparently, people are organizing, and I don't know how many it is now. Apparently, it's a large number of people, but they're claiming that they're going to raid Area 51 because they want to know what's going on with the aliens. And listen. Here's my final thoughts of the night on that. Y'all might think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I do believe there's some other type of life form somewhere. I do. I really do believe that. Only reason why I say that, man, is because this galaxy is just is no way how sophisticated that is. It wouldn't surprise me if there was other life forms somewhere. Now, I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's actually billion, beings, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to get that deep. But I do believe that there's something else. I also believe in UFOs. Now, let's be honest, though. I don't know if the UFOs that I've actually seen in my lifetime, if that was real, or was it a quote-unquote unidentified object because I didn't know what it was? You know what I mean? It could very well be the government or the military or whatever testing something. Just because I've never seen it, I'm like, oh, that's a UFO. So it's shaky for me. But I do believe that there is something. I honestly believe that. I don't know what it is. However, I wouldn't advise storming Area 51. Because let me tell you something. If all of this stuff that y'all think is true, you think they're just gonna let you just walk up in there and bogart it? Bruh. Okay. I mean, that storyline could be very crazy the next day, Smith. That news report could be like 1 million people vanished. Bruh, I'm just saying. Mind your own business, man. Listen, I don't need to know. Like, what does it... Okay, here's the question. What does it do for us if we do find out that there are such thing as aliens? And so, then what? My life don't change. I'm just saying. I don't know, guys. I appreciate DSK for giving us that little topic there, but I don't know. Good luck to them folks, but I will not be one of the million storming Area 51. I can promise you that. But all right, man, that's going to do it, man. Any last words, Smitty?
Nah, excuse me. As far as that, yeah, that's about wild. But what I will say though is, like always, you guys, thank you for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for coming through and chatting and everything else. You know what I'm saying? This is a great step forward. Things are looking really, really good right now. in regards to Madden. I'm feeling real good about it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said on Twitter, dudes was giving us props. And I mean, look, my man Kia, thank you for the letting Clinton know every day. You know what I'm saying? Not to mess with the pass rush. He didn't mess with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Sim said it a lot. I said it too. Man, look, this is just the beginning, dude. Because you know, we got to see how this game is gonna go post launch. How everybody's gonna react to the game across the board, but then also what happens once the title updates start rolling out. What ends up happening to the game? Because, like I said before, I don't want Madden to be a game where it's like the core integrity of the game is compromised, regardless of what you do with sliders and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, I don't want it to be like that. So we know that the game is going to potentially be augmented in some way, shape, or form. If it doesn't get augmented at all, that would be phenomenal. But if something happens in regards to the game, I just want to see it realistically keep moving. And that's it. I want to see it realistically keep moving forward, not take steps backwards because of personal feelings, basically. We can't keep riding that same ride every year. Where the game comes out one way, we're enjoying it for a few weeks, and then before you know it, it's gone before the fall. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't be that way anymore, man. It has to be consistency going forward, because if you water down the quality of the gameplay, all these modes, it's all a wash. It's all a wash at this point. The rating system is going to be a wash. The franchise mode is going to lose its luster that it has. I know it's not everything, but still, it's just even the beginning parts that they're doing. Like, it's not going to be as prestigious as, like they're trying to build back to full-blown 5-star prestige, and we don't need to keep holding them at 1 or 2 stars on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Due to just not wanting to accept change. And that's what has to happen. The game needs to innovate and change for the better. They're starting to do that. I want to see them continuously do that throughout the year without the game being compromised at the core. So we'll see what happens from there. But otherwise, man, you guys are all cool, man. You guys, thanks for everybody that had donated today. I mean, we always appreciate all of you guys. And yeah, man, like what Sim and I said, look, hey, next week, next week, you're going to see Sim and I, whether Sim streams or whatever, I definitely will be streaming that EA Access. You know what I'm saying? It'll be on the 25th. So, yeah, next Friday. So, I look forward to it. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
yeah, man. That's it. That's a wrap. We shall see. And once again, you have multiple ways to rent.
Yes.
You have multiple football hardcore folk. Your DSKs of the world, NY Kias of the world. I will say Kia up more than most, only because Kia is heavily involved, as far as putting his videos on YouTube. I know others are doing it as well. I think maybe even DSK a little bit, but Kia is, we all know that's coming. So if you want it from a super duper hardcore labbing, check him out. Check out Beast Mode. There you have it. I will have my stuff as well, but again, y'all know how I do. I jump in and play first, and I let the problems uncover itself. Then I go in and look, say, whoa, that looked a little crazy. Keep an eye on it. Then I might lab it. But I usually don't attack the lab first. Just my approach just is a little different. So that's why I always try to give those guys credit and shine as well. So if you want to see it from their perspective, the real deal, do that. Watch Smitty streams, watch my streams, watch Shopmaster. Mad people. $4.99. You can rent the game and have 10 hours of play, or you can go to Redbox. So I encourage you guys to do all of those things before spending your money. So there's no excuse, and it is your choice. You either bought it or you didn't. But with that being said, gotta go. Hope you guys have a great night, great weekend. Be safe. God bless. And next week, oh hey, speaking of which, are we gonna have a show next week? Or we're gonna be too busy playing Madden? That's a good question, man. I guess we'll have a show, man. I guess we can play live, and then I don't know. Maybe we'll next week. You know, to be honest, let's be honest. Let's hash this out right now. To be totally fair with you guys, I'm sure we won't really have a great deal of an opinion of the game. If we might actually have the game before then.
I don't know.
But yeah, we don't know. EA Access might be it.
Yeah, because EA Access won't start. EA Access won't start until the 20th. I thought it was the 25th.
25th.
I thought that would be on Friday.
Is it? I thought it was Thursday.
No, today. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm doing the math all wrong. No, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It would be Thursday.
On Thursday.
Oh, so yeah, no, we could definitely do the show. Yeah.
So yeah, we're either gonna do a show. If we don't do a show, let's say if we decide that we're not, then we'll both be streaming. So you guys won't have no problem seeing the game. But yeah, I guess we could just go ahead and do the show like we always do. And yeah, we could DSK, good point. Yeah, I could stream the game during the show. There you go. Voila.
Yeah.
We'll do that. And Smitty, he can have a stream going.
Up too, and then Sim can have it up too.
Boom, boom, bow. Yeah. There you go. All right. Never mind. False alarm. All right, man. Y'all have a good night. Be safe, and we'll see y'all next week for EA Access. Peace.